Hey, what's up, folks? Today is April 8th, 2025. I am Eric. I am your host. So again, today we are talking about the same thing we talk about all the time, which is TradeStation, easy language, a little bit of programming. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I am not a I'm not a professional programmer either, but I have spent some time with TradeStation, easy language, and so I've learned a few things along the way. I'm still learning things. I'm learning things every single day. So there's a quick video about what I learned today, something that I needed, and I found a way around it, right? So pretty much what I have going on here is that one of the things I want to do is if I identify that there is a significant swing low or point, something like that, then I'm going to put a reference point of time here, and then I want to know what kind of information I can gather that happened at this swing point. So specifically, what I'm looking at initially is over here in the Excel spreadsheet. That is what I use to pull the data to. And so if you look at the spreadsheet, you'll see that we have, hang on. So there we go. All right, so we'll take this last run, for instance. The target was April 8th at 4:30 in the morning. I ran the program at 8:26. The amount of ticks that we had at the swing low, at the lowest point, was 240, and that time was at 4:25. So the time that I set on the right side of the swing point was 4:30. The lowest swing point was 425. All right, and then the highest spread that we had within the last so many bars was at 414. And then there's just some other information here, stuff that I look at specifically. But one of the things that I have is for this specific pull this one up. For this program, I've got this information here, right? So I've got the date that I'm looking for. I've got the time that I'm looking for. And then the problem here is that this will go through so many bars. This will run through so many bars. And when it runs through all these bars, it's got to pull a lot of information. It pulls information from global dictionaries. It writes it to Excel. It does a lot of stuff. So if it has to rerun the program over and over, it just takes a long time. So we need to set the MaxBarsBack, right? And we know how we can do that from properties here. We can go and set MaxBarsBack. But when I go to the program itself, you'll see that I have the MaxBar set at a higher level. So on the 15-second time frame, we know there's 1440 minutes in a day. But so on the 15-second time frame, 4 bars in a minute, we need to multiply that times 4. So we at least get something around 6,000, 8,000, something like that. So I've got my user-defined MaxBarsBack setting is set 7501. So when I set that, hopefully you already understand that when you run a program that you need so many bars of data in order to run your calculations, right? So if you're running a moving average or something like that, then you need to have a certain number of bars in order to make the moving average happen. So this is like my test program. This is what I put together this morning. So the test program says we're looking for a moving average of the close of 9 bars, and then we'll plot that value as plot 1. We also did a close of 20 bars. All right, so what we're going to do here is we will see if I can put this on the same screen here. Pull up my print log, clear it. Okay, I'm gonna run this. Okay, now what I do have on here right now is the is where I throw the exception, the stop calculation exception, and that's important for a few reasons. But I will comment that out for right now. I'll rerun it, come back here, and then so I'm gonna run that, and when I run it, you see that we get 7 right there, right? Oh. All right, so when we reran this program, we'll clear this again. All right, and then turn it off. I'll turn it back on, and when we rerun it, you see that we get 7 right here. Okay, that 7 is because we said here, if we have a MaxBarsBack of 20, then we're going to print 7. It actually skips past the 1 because it didn't run multiple times, right? So we have a user-defined MaxBarsBack setting. So that's what I'm telling you is it's important that the script only runs one time. It only runs one time. All right, so if we hit customize, you see I have it set as user-defined to 20 MaxBarsBack. If I hit auto detect, it's still going to come up with the number 20, and it's going to come up with the number 20 because I need 20 bars of data, right? So it will come up with the number 20 as being the final MaxBarsBack setting, but it will run a test calculation, if you will, to find what the MaxBarsBack should be. Okay, so it'll eventually get 20, but it's got to run a test one first, and when it runs the test one, the MaxBarsBack will be set as 1, and then it'll just run it, run the whole way through the program, and then it'll find that it needs a MaxBarsBack of 20, and then when it runs the second time, it'll run it as being 20. So when I run this, with it being set as auto detect, it will actually show up twice. So I'm gonna go ahead and verify that. We'll come back here to this one. Okay, and so we're on auto detect here. We're gonna hit OK, close. All right, I'm gonna clear this. We're gonna rerun it again. All right, so now we turn it on. Okay, you see it gave us both printouts, right? So it ran it the first time, MaxBarsBack was 1. And then when it ran it the final time, MaxBarsBack was 20, right? Okay, now the problem with this is that it's got to run this, script, this whole script on every bar, from the beginning to the end, to make sure that there's nothing that calls on it needing more MaxBarsBack. And when I have a program as complex as this, it's not very complex. It requires a lot of calls to the system and to global dictionaries and calculations. I've got some calculations in here for VWAP, and I've got calculations for a lot of stuff. So for this to run on any one bar, it can be significant, but to run on every single bar, that's a lot. So I don't need this to run multiple times. I need this to run one time. So to make sure that we get the right values in, what I've done is now we know that we're not getting 2 runs, right? So you saw before when I had it on auto detect, we got 2 runs. We got one run, test run, and then we got the final run. Okay, so we're going to clear this out. Okay, now we're going to set this to user defined. So now it's 20. So now it should only run one time. Hit OK. Now you see it only ran one time. It didn't give us the MB1, which was the test run, MaxBarsBack 1. It didn't give us that run. So now we're only running one time, which is great. That's what we're looking for. Okay, so now let's come back over here, and then we're going to do one extra thing, which is what I added to my other program, which is if we get a certain MaxBarsBack, right? So right now the MaxBarsBack is set to 20, but say if we want it to be, if we don't correctly define our MaxBarsBack, if we set it to auto detect, well, at least we know that auto detect will give us a one run of MaxBarsBack equaling 1, right? We'll give one run of MaxBarsBack equal to 1. Okay, and then it will, continue on, and then it'll give us whatever our final MaxBarsBack setting is. Now, if you incorrectly set MaxBarsBack too low, then you'll still get an error. When you run the program, it's actually going to say something like MaxBarsBack setting incorrect or something like that. So we don't want it to be auto detect, not for this program. We don't want it to be auto detect, and we don't want it to be set incorrectly too low. Okay, so you can use formulas to decide what you want this condition to be. If you want it to be a certain number, less than a certain number, greater than a number, whatever. For my script, I did that I made it a little bit more unique, if you will. So I said if the time frame is a 15-second time frame and we got a MaxBarsBack setting less than or equal to 7,500. So that means I want it greater than or equal to 75. I want it greater than 7,500. So if it's auto detect, then it's going to throw this stop calculation. If it's set lower than 75, if it's set 7,500 or lower, it's going to throw this stop calculation. Now, what does this stop calculation do? Well, like I said, on this test run, we have it over here. So if max bar setting is equal to 20, then we're going to throw the stop calculation exception. Okay, and that is under just the general EL system environment. EL system dots, and you have all these other things that you can do. Analysis technique. You can stop the calculation. You can recalculate. But one of the things you do need is you need this throw in here. If you don't have the throw, it won't work. Okay, so now I uncommented this. So let's back out here. Okay, so now when I verify this, boom, I get an error. Okay, this is the error. Exception of type stop calculation exception was thrown. Why? Because this script here was set at 20 max bars back. And we said, if we have it set at 20 max bars back, then go ahead and throw this exception calculation. And I think this is kind of cool too. And I know this is one thing that Coach Easy Language talked about, is you can throw these calculations so that you can get error messages. Or if you say you're working on an indicator that places trades, and the trade puts in the wrong quantity, then instead of it just shutting down the whole program, you might want it to throw you a message to let you know what the error was, so that you can correct it and then move on. So in order to put a message in there, you just put set here, wrong setting size, something like that. Okay, gonna hit verify, get this out of here, come back over here, turn it back on, and then you see we get the error says wrong setting size. All right, very cool. I thought this was very cool. But anyway, I hope you got a little something out of this. This has been a quick one. I am back to the charts. This has been a crazy couple of days, huh? Yeah. All right, I'm Eric. I'm out. Peace.